is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Look what we have here. You have me and Michael, your host of the MIGHTYcast, in the flesh together. Episode 5. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. And, you know, I think the last episode did 72,000 views? Something like that. I think it's like 75,000 views.
Yeah, no, I think let's pull it out. Let's brag a little bit about these numbers. We got Ariel Hawani. He's helping bring up those numbers. Our good friend, my former ESPN buddy. So yeah, no, it's at 75,000 as we record here, and it's gonna hopefully keep going by the time this episode's live. But no, thank you all for watching, or whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We love that feedback. So just let us know if you want any future guests, and so we could make that a regular thing.
Yeah. All right, boys. Man, this is a big month. You know, not just in mixed martial arts, but boxing. I think one of the biggest fights that we're all waiting to see: Dillon Danis versus Logan Paul. Does it happen? Right? That's the biggest thing. Does it happen? Because before, Dillon Danis was about to fight KSI, but he got injured. He backed out. We don't know what happened. But I think it's coming down to the wire. They're fighting October 14th. Make sure you guys come here. We're going to do a live reaction and our final analysis, who we think is going to win. Also on the card, you got KSI versus Tommy Fury. And then we also have Salt Papi, which in my opinion, he has been the most oppressive YouTuber who's crossed over to boxing. He's lost a lot of weight, made some lifestyle changes, looks great. They are comparing him to Fat Boo when he makes transition to Kid Boo. That's a little anime nerd stuff for you there, Michael. But let's bring it back to Dillon Danis versus Logan Paul. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried that it wasn't gonna happen because he was getting hit with all these damn Nina lawsuits. And as Hurowani said last week, that he felt that it was Nina versus Dillon Danis compared to all the Twitter beat that he's been throwing at Nina. But he's also just trying to hype the fight up because I'm sure he's probably make a shitload of money fighting Logan Paul. And I bet you he probably has like pay-per-view points from the DAZN. And that's why I think he's just pushing it super hard. But I'm super excited about that fight. I'm super invested into it because we covered so much of his shit. Like not just not just all his shit talking, but we just broke down his BJJ ADCC against Gordon Ryan, and his grappling's legit, right? I mean, he does a good job in mixed martial arts. He only had 2 or 3 Bellator fights. All the knee injuries kept him out, and then we broke down his grappling match. But we haven't seen him box yet. He's done some sparring with Alex Pereira, and I believe that's about it that he's displayed. But I'm super excited to see what's going to happen just because it's like all this build up and now they have to fight.
No, and I think that is what's special about this, if I could say, about this crossover boxing, this kind of circus boxing combat sports that we have. One thing that I'll say is interesting about it is how much we've built it up ourselves, that there's no hiding it. I mean, we'll be honest, like, before we both started covering this Dillon Danis Logan Paul fight, neither of us cared at all. We just saw that you guys cared, and that made us care. Yep. But now, after weeks of us doing these Danis street fight breakdowns, this Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather, Dillon Danis, grappling, just getting to look at, is he even legit at grappling? It's gotten me all of a sudden hyped to actually see it because I care about the outcome more than I would say, an average UFC fight. As weird as that sounds, there's a little bit of a rooting interest because it's like, man, I want to see his Logan Paul after all that stuff that Dillon said about Nina. Like, is he going to get knocked out? Because let's be honest, that's something I want to say right now. If Logan Paul just wins by decision, do you even count that as a win for him? Do you think he needs to get a knockout here?
I mean, I think he's got to finish him. He's got to finish him to make him pay for what he said about his fiance on social media. I think the biggest thing too about it is that we're so invested because Dillon is one of me, right? He is in mixed martial arts. He comes from that background. He's a martial artist. To Logan Paul, he is an entertainer, right? He's an amazing wrestler. I love watching him do WWE, and he's also transitioned into that YouTube boxing. But at the end of the day, I am rooting for Dillon Danis just because he comes from the same lineage of jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts, and I always want to see the MMA guys succeed in making a lot of money and doing something else besides getting, well, he's still getting punched in the face, but he's not doing mixed martial arts. He's calling his own shots, right? Like, I'm pretty sure when it came to negotiation of his contract, I like to think that he had more say-so than if it was a Bellator, UFC, One Championship, Ryzen contract, right? To where those contracts are kind of the same, like, not rinse and repeat, but it's you know, you're, all right, fight deal, you're under contract, you're going to make 20, and that's it, right? Because he's not a champion, so it's not like he's going to get pay-per-view points. But I feel like he's going to have more say-so in his contract with the DAZN. So super happy, and I can't wait. I just hope the fight happens. Like, I'm invested. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be so mad. It's going to be horrible. I would talk so much shit to him. Like, you bastard.
So I guess let's. So as we record this is the Monday before this fight, this Saturday. So let's make a prediction right now. Do you think that Dillon Danis will show up, he'll be on weight, and there aren't going to be any theatrics? If you had to make that final prediction right now.
Oh man, it's hard. It's hard because we've been here before, right? We've been here before with KSI, and I thought that fight was going to happen. There was, I felt like that fight was going to happen, but there's a part of me that's stuck into my heart that he's come way too far to turn back now, right? He's all the work he's done of bashing Nina, the face off. He just did Arrow on his podcast. I feel like it's got to happen. So you know what? You asked the question. I'm going to give you an answer. I believe it's going to happen. What about you? You think it's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it will too, but more of where I come in my doubts is the fight itself. I have a hard time believing it's going to deliver. So here's the thing. We see Jake Paul, and Logan Paul isn't anywhere from what we've seen in the class of a Jake Paul in terms of boxing, but the fights that Jake Paul had against like not real fighters were just not. I don't want to make the comparison to Ben Askren, but it does somewhat give me vibes of that. Like, I'm a little worried that this fight is going to be very short. Like, and it's weird because maybe I'm comparing Logan a little bit too much to his brother, and I'm giving him too much credit as a boxer, but I just feel like there's the momentum, the, DAZN kind of wanting the Paul brothers to continue pushing them. It's so hard for me to believe that there's like, once the fight actually starts, that we're going to see a fair fight. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the cards are stacked against Danis to do anything.
Well, I don't think the cards are stacked against him. I think he has a tall order to a tall mountain to climb, right? Because you think about it, Logan Paul, yes, he's not the best boxer, but either is Dillon Danis, right? I mean, I like to think Logan should have better hands than Dillon Danis, because Dillon Danis comes from a grappling background, kind of like Ben Askren, right? And Dillon, when you watch his Bellator fights, it wasn't like he was pop, 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 like piecing people up. He wasn't very light and crisp on the feet. Even the fight we watched, the training videos we watched with him sparring against Alex Pereira, and just some random sparring footage, it wasn't like he was light on his feet. And his background is more of mixed martial arts, where he's punching, kicking, takedowns. So to be in the realm of just boxing, I mean, I think Logan Paul's gonna have the advantage on the feet, and I think he's more athletic, and he might be on steroids too. I don't fucking know. I mean, they were gonna do water testing, but I feel he's gonna have the advantage just because he's been there before, to where Dillon Danis hasn't. He hasn't been as active. I mean, you have the kind of street fights. So, I mean, we'll see how he deals with the pressure of being on a big stage and the lights. And a funny thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't even the fucking main event. Like, when you told me, I was like, yeah, that's not even the main event. The main event's actually KSI versus Tommy Fury, correct?
Yeah, no, and that's what's pretty crazy about all of this, and that's why I just got to tip my cap to Logan and Dillon Danis. And if I'm going to be honest, mostly Dillon Danis, because his Twitter, like, I did not care about this fight until he started dropping all those pics and memes on Nina. So, no, I mean, I tip my cap to because that's a pretty funny story that Ariel said to us too, because when he talked to Logan Paul, I forgot when he said he talked to Logan Paul, but Logan told, oh yeah, it was after his SummerSlam match against Ricochet. He talked to Ariel and he's like, yeah, Dylan Dennis is going to be my next opponent. And what Ariel said to Logan was like, he doesn't deserve you. That was what he said.
I think it's vice versa
yeah,
now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And Logan, it shows how smart Logan is that he knew like, no, like Dylan Dennis, like maybe he's not much of a fighter. He backs out of fights, but he's gonna sell this fight. So props to Logan Paul for knowing like, hey, here's an opponent who's gonna at least earn getting in there from creating a buzz. And and I don't see anyone talking about KSI Tommy Fury.
No.
Like, it's crazy that's the main event.
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at the face-off didn't have the same attraction as Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul. And you know,
they took down our video.
Yeah, I know.
Damn, you KSI.
No, I don't think it was KSI. I think it was DAZN. DAZN.
But DAZN.
Oh, you know,
our Logan Paul Dennis one is still.
That's right.
It's still up there. So
Goddamn you, KSI. How dare you? We're just doing you a favor. We're trying to promote you a fight. We're just trying to promote you as an athlete and Tommy Fury. And it's funny that it is the main event, but I think, you know, with Tommy Fury versus KSI, Tommy Fury should beat him. But obviously it's a boxing match. Everybody's got a boxing chance, a puncher's chance, and we'll see what happens. But I think the creme brulee, the ribeye, the cowboy steak of that fight card is probably going to be, it's not going to be, it is Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis. So super excited about that.
So before we move on from the fight, what is your final prediction? As we talk right now, what's even the rounds? I mean, it's like these no. Like, that's what I love about these fights, is that it's so not about the actual fight that I don't even know what they're fighting for, what the rounds are. Like, I don't think it even matters, but I'm pretty sure it's 6. But let's say what's your prediction of the winner, and do you see a knockout? What do you think?
I think we see a knockout on Logan Paul round 4. I think he knocks him out. I think he's going to overwhelm him. Because he did a good job overwhelming Floyd Mayweather. Obviously, he had the size difference. But I think Dylan Dennis just hasn't been active enough. You know, like I can see Logan Paul blitzing him. I don't think Dylan's ever been known to having power in his hands. You know, just that one knockout punch. But, you know, Dylan Dennis has been inactive. We know Dylan can take a punch. So it's going to be a barrage. I feel Logan Paul's going to barrage him and finish him in the 4th.
Yeah, no, and I want to say right now, but before even saying a prediction, absolutely, and you mentioned it too, I'm rooting for Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, 1,000%. Rooting for Dylan.
Which I cannot believe I'm saying. But it shows just how, God, how much you could hate those Paul brothers that I can't believe I'm saying this, but that is one thing I want to put on the record. I'm rooting for Dylan Dennis. It would be one of my favorite combat sports moments in years if he somehow knocked him out. And just imagine if that happened. Which I think is, if he wins, it's probably going to be a decision where he shows a little bit more technique than we expected. I've not seen any power from him whatsoever in MMA. Yeah. But I just wanted to at least get that off my chest, that I am rooting for Dylan Dennis. Which it's weird that a guy who's just saying all this shit about someone's fiance is all of a sudden the baby face in a feud. But I don't know why, but he's just become this hero for me in some ways.
I think the reason why is because the Paul brothers have come into this sport of boxing, knocking out Tyron Woodley, knocking out Ben Askren. And, you know, I think Logan Paul is 0-2 in boxing, so he hasn't won a fight, I believe, yet. But I feel like maybe this is the guy from our sport who can come in and get a victory for mixed martial arts. Because every single person that the Paul brothers has fought from mixed martial arts, they have defeated him, right? When Tyron Woodley was going to go fight Jake Paul, like, oh, this is going to be easy. Tyron Woodley's a fighter. He actually does this in real life. Da-da-da-da-da. He beats him. Then he knocks him out. Ben Askren. Oh, Ben Askren's going to beat him. Ben Askren gets knocked out. Who else from the MMA community can step up and beat these guys? A little bit of hold our savior, Dylan Dennis. Will he be the savior of the mixed martial artists? We'll find out on October 14th, boys.
No, and I'm happy you said that too, because that's another thing that now that I finally have the platform to say it and I could speak on it, these MMA fighters would kick these guys' ass in real fights, and you're one of them too. Like we have Bradley Martin. I could go against Demetrious Johnson. That's one thing I'm gonna say. We're talking about this. We're having fun. I'm happy that you guys enjoy our breakdowns on Dennis and Logan Paul. But I do want to say one thing that is important, that these MMA fighters are only doing this because the money's in boxing, and it does not mean that Logan Paul would have even a slight shot. And let's see that too. I'm interested in that supposedly Logan Paul said in that face-off that he would do MMA. I don't remember if he said if Dylan Dennis won. What was this?
I think if he shows up, if they fight.
Oh yeah, if he shows up
to fight.
So okay, if that happens, So, and I think that's something, the respect I have, and you're going to learn on this show that I lean more towards. I have a respect for all martial arts, but what I love about mixed martial arts is, like, if you are in a situation, just God forbid you're in a real life situation and you're locked in a room with someone, John Jones murders anyone in the world. Like that dude knows that he could wake up every day like, man, if it's just no guns, no knives, and I'm locked in a room, I literally not one human being who would just lock them in a room and it's like only one of you can exit, that John Jones is going to lose against. And that includes Tyson Fury. That's anyone. Francis Ngannou. So actually, Ngannou would actually be pretty interesting. I'll take that one back because that's an actual MMA fighter. But either way, getting a little off topic, I do agree with you. That's where I root for Dylan Dennis, and I just look out for these MMA guys where it's like even a Nate Diaz, like let's do that PFL fight against like all this talk with PFL. Let's have that fight actually booked and see how it goes.
I mean, all they gotta do is cough up $10 million because that's what Jake Paul said. So if Jake Paul, if PFL can come up with $10 million somehow to make that fight happen, I agree with you. Nate Diaz wins, which is another MMA guy that I totally forgot to list, who we thought, is this our savior? Is this the gentleman who's gonna come out and beat one of the Paul brothers? So he wasn't able to get it done. And, that's why I kind of feel like how the Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul fight can go, where the one is just more athletic and just moves around and beats him because it's boxing. So we'll see. All right. What else we got this month? We have the UFC.
I was going to say, before we totally go off of this, I really do not care much for this fight. And we've already talked about how it's hardly even the main event, but let's at least just give a KSI Tommy Fury prediction. And before we get into that, I'll actually pull up looking at it. So first of all, Logan Paul's actually only had one technical professional fight, and it was against KSI.
What?
No, which is pretty crazy. But no, so KSI, I'll be honest, I've not seen him box before.
He has an interesting style. I watched this fight where he knocked a homeboy out with a forearm strike, and then they went. Honestly, KSI is kind of like a little bit of a spaz and a little bit trying to be technical. The biggest thing, with these guys is that they don't have any amateur fights. That's the biggest thing. So all of their, they have a lot of deficiencies because they've never gone through, 5, 10 amateur fights. And you see it in all of them. You see it, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI. Saul Poppy, like I said before, when I broke him down, DAZN wouldn't allow me to post it. He actually had some type of form of curriculum that he understood how boxing works and his stance, and him being the shorter fighter. So with KSI versus Tommy Fury is a professional boxer, right? He comes from a lineage of boxers, being Tyson Fury's brother. I just, that fight just doesn't excite me as Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis does. It just, I just feel, Tommy Fury has an interesting way by going around his fights where he's not like, he's not as crisp as Tyson. And I wasn't impressed when he fought Jake Paul either. Like, I thought Jake Paul did a good job sticking with him, even though Tommy Fury supposedly has a long amateur career, right? Like, somebody in Discord asked me a question. They said, man, how do I get to a level of like Floyd Mayweather, Gervonta Davis, David Haney, all these, the best boxers in the world? And I was like, well, these guys, their path to where they are now is that, Floyd might have had, I don't know, maybe 200 amateur fights. And then he went to the Olympics. And then from the Olympics, I don't know if he went once or twice, but they usually go to the Olympics. And then after the Olympics, then they'll get into the pro level. Nowadays, you see nobody wanted to fight for the Olympics. Like it's unheard of. People are like, no, I don't want to fight for the Olympics. I'd rather just, do 20 amateur fights and go pro and start making money. Like that's the way they do it. But when you see those guys who do that, they're not as crisp. They're not as good. Like, you just had Canelo Alvarez versus Charlo, and Canelo Alvarez just destroyed him. But he's also had a long amateur career, a lot of fights. So when I look at Tommy Fury, I don't see that from him, right? Like, I don't know his age, but if you're a professional boxer, you should have at least, I would at least think 40 amateur fights in boxing. But I don't see that in him. I don't see that 40 amateur crisp boxing from him. So I don't know. I mean, I think Tommy Fury should win this fight easily. But
yeah, me too. But this, like I said, I never would be one to be like, oh, these fights are fixed or something. But we know if DAZN can have a hand in it and they could choose the winners, of course they would hope that Logan Paul and KSI are going to come out on top. So I'm always going to give KSI like a little bit more of an edge, because they're like, these fights, this isn't like a UFC or something like that. And even in UFC, let's be honest, they're still the favorites. Come on, Paddy Pimblett, who we'll talk about when his pay-per-view against Tony Ferguson. But yeah, he lost his fight against Gordon 100%. But so I don't, even UFC, you have a little bit of like, and we off camera, we also had some other not to be named that we talked about a little bit as well. So there's promotions out there that always want, whoever they want to push to win to some degree. And of course they can't fix the fights, but there's just little things that they could do. Like, and the judges know too, like none of the judges would admit it, but like they know in the back of their minds, like, hey, I mean, if I'm like 50-50 on something, maybe I should go this way.
I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah. So that I'll say that, but as you said, like, Tommy Fury, come on, you gotta beat this guy. There is no reason. It's, if anything, it's even more than Danis and Logan, or Logan Paul versus Danis for me, where people are like, oh, Logan Paul should beat Dylan Danis. It's that even more so, because there is no excuse that Fury does not beat KSI. Zero.
Yeah, no excuse whatsoever. But it's boxing. There's always a puncher's chance. But being a professional boxer, I mean, it's just like being a pro mixed martial artist. When I was an amateur, like my amateur background in mixed martial arts, I've done one boxing match, one kickboxing, one Muay Thai, one shoot boxing, and probably like 15 amateur mixed martial artists. And then I've also done like 4 jiu-jitsu tournaments. So my amateur career set me up for success in my pro career, where I feel like these guys don't go through that. Obviously, not Dylan Dennis, but obviously Logan Paul and Jake Paul and KSI never did that. They did more of the YouTube stuff. But Tommy Fury should have an extensive background in amateur boxing. This should be an easy fight for him. Should be hands down easy fight.
And then last thing, is there do you even care who wins from a reading?
No.
But see, does this not show the storytelling of Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul? Because I agree with you too. I could give a rat's ass who wins that fight, and that is the key to professional wrestling, combat sports. When those two guys are in there, you need to have a rooting interest, or what's the point? And that's the last thing I'm going to say. I respect the build of Dylan Dennis, Logan Paul. It's obviously not for some people. They've gone too far. I'm not a married man, so I also wouldn't be privy to that aspect of it. But all I'm going to say is, I'm way more interested in that. Let's go, Dylan Dennis. We're rooting for you.
We'll go, Dylan. Let's go. Let's go.
Officially, MIGHTYcast approved. We're going to maybe we'll have him on the show afterwards.
You just talk shit to us the whole time.
Yeah. So moving on, a week from Saturday, we got let's be honest, the real combat sports, the actual fights, and I think it works very nicely for combat sports fans, because we have these kind of, if we're being honest, these kind of jokes of a fight. And then a week later, we have UFC 294, a long break in between pay-per-views, just a stacked card. There's always something special about these Abu Dhabi cards. So we'll break it down definitely more in depth next week. And we have a ton of breakdowns coming at you with Islam and Charles Oliveira and Hamzat. So let's start with that Charles Oliveira versus Islam. What's some of your early thoughts there? Because one thing I'll say is, from the heart, a lot of these hardcore MMA fans, they are praying for Charles Oliveira to win. Like they love that dude. It's very much feels like he's the baby face coming into this. So how do you give Charles Oliveira a good shot in this rematch?
1,000%. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I think Charles Oliveira, depending on what day of the week it is, I think he's higher on the GOAT list than Khabib. I just feel it. Like, he's so exciting to watch. You know, the only thing I give him is that he just makes not the best decision when he fights. But when he fights, when I did his breakdown, when you guys see the breakdown that I do where he fought Justin Gaethje, oh my God, you guys will see the passion and the love that I have for Charles when he fights. Like, there's no other fighter right now that gets me excited than Charles Oliveira. Like, I just love watching him fight. So I do give him a shot at beating. I think he has what it takes, the skill set to beat Islam. I truly do. But he's got to come in healthy. I saw today that he was complaining about it being in Abu Dhabi. I don't know if you saw that. But, you know, Islam was like, I didn't pick it to be in Abu Dhabi. That's where the UFC picked it. And they just named us, you know, the helm of the card. So I hope that doesn't really get in his mind about, man, we're in Abu Dhabi again. Because that's where he lost the first time with him, I believe, right? It was in Abu Dhabi against Islam.
I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but I talked to Kelvin Gastelum about this actually, because Shavkat, and here I'm actually pulling it up quickly. So this UFC 280, it was. So that first fight, UFC 280, October 22nd, 2022, which that's pretty interesting. So it was almost exactly a year later.
Yeah. So I feel like for him, he's like, man, like I've been here before. I've been in this atmosphere. But at the same time, he can use it to his advantage. Like, hey, I've been here before. I've been here before. I already know what's the worst that can happen. I've already lost to this man before in the same location. Let's rewrite history. I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to fucking take it to him, right? And that's how I felt when I fought Adriano, right? I fought him in 2000, I think it was 19. I don't know. We fought in Singapore during COVID-19. I got knocked out. And then I went back and I fought Ratang, beat Ratang. And then we went back to Singapore. And then I finally knocked him out in the same arena where I was like, I've been here before. We got a live crowd now. I'm going to take it to him. So hopefully Charles can get out of his mind and say, we're going back to the same spot. Use it as fuel. Use it as, I want to rewrite this history in the folks in Abu Dhabi and be able to come back and beat one of the most dominant, you know, athletes in the lightweight division.
No, yeah, and what I was getting at, and I hope Kelvin Gastelum doesn't mind me saying, but he had mentioned to me, because he fought, I'm not sure who he fought, I'd have to look it up, but he fought in Abu Dhabi before, and he really wanted to do it as kind of like a bucket list thing, and just a cool, like, yeah, I want to get that Fight Island experience, and he let me know, like, I would not want to do it again. Like, it is not something, which I didn't really go into depth with him, but could you maybe think of what would be some factors? Because he was just like, yeah, I'm not looking to fight in Abu Dhabi.
You know,
again.
I'm sure the flight's pretty long. I don't know what the tax situation is over there. You got to go over there, get adjusted to the time zone, because I'm assuming, like, who know what time zone are they fighting on? I'm assuming since it's such a big card, they're going to probably be on Pacific Standard Time, like start at 7 p.m., I would assume.
Yeah, so what's cool with these Abu Dhabi cards, it will be prime time in Abu Dhabi, so for us it's going to be an early card. So it's smart that they do that.
They do that. So then the athletes want to get over there early, right? Because when I fought in Singapore for one championship, they wanted to cater to the Amazon Prime. So we would fight early in the morning, about 11:30 in the morning. So when I would go over there, I wouldn't adjust to their time zone. I would stay on my own time zone, which is cool and shitty, because when it's dark over here, everything is starting to open up. But then I will go to bed around maybe 1 p.m., 2 p.m. over there. And then I'll wake up at like 2 a.m. And then I'll spend the whole day trying to eat. I would just eat breakfast the whole time. Like, I absolutely hated it. I hated it. But then when they switched it back to, you know, the normal time where I was fighting at nighttime in Singapore, I actually loved it, because I was actually getting legit meals. I was having my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner, and going to bed on their time zone instead of staying on my own time zone. So I think for some athletes, they probably don't want to switch They're like, man, if I go over there and I fight in prime time, I need to go over there 2 weeks ahead of schedule, which we were over there for 2 weeks. It kind of gets boring. Like, you're just, I'm here to fight and I have to wait 2 weeks. But I've never been to Abu Dhabi, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty dope over there. You can do so many fun things. But that might have been Kevin's, thing where he was like, I don't know. I don't want to do it again. I want to just stay back home and just chill. But
no, yeah, it was just interesting because you had Shavkat there, which, like, I will always give. I'm gonna, Kelvin's my boy, so I'm always gonna be like, man, Kelvin was a badass for wanting that fight and like doing everything he could to go against Shavkat, and that's a guy I'm sure we'll do a breakdown of once we get closer, which actually we for sure will. As he fights Stephen Thompson. So we'll definitely do a breakdown of that, but no, because I know Kelvin wanted to fight Shavkat, but Shavkat was kind of being like, oh, so I gave you the opportunity to do it on Mexican Independence Day, and it was almost a road game. It would have been a road game for Shavkat, so to speak. So he was like, oh, well, now return the favor in Abu Dhabi, and Kelvin's like, nope. I'm not doing that. But no, so I think getting back to the matchup, it is, there's something about like these rematches in MMA, and you're someone who you've obviously done it as well. You had like, let's see, how many rematches did you have in UFC? You had
Cejudo, Cejudo, Joseph Benavidez, John Dodson, and then I think that was about it. Yeah, so I have 4 rematches, and then actually, so then Adrian Rice too. So 5 rematches.
That is true. So I will say you're a pretty good example of results actually changing in them, obviously, because with Moraes, you get knocked out, getting used to those one championship rules, and then you beat him the next 2 times. Mm-hmm. Henry, the split decision, go the other way the second time, but it's sometimes difficult in UFC when there is this rematch of, I guess this is a better way to say it, Henry's the only rematch I think of. No, I should say Moraes too, where the rematch happened after a decisive finish. Was there any other examples of that?
No, I think you're right. I mean,
so it is pretty, I don't want to say it's rare, but it's like we saw in that Islam Charles fight, it was very dominant.
Yes.
And people would think what has changed since then, but I don't know why. It's just when we saw that Islam Volkanovski fight, there was something that had to give everyone confidence there's a way to beat this guy.
I think what happened in the first fight between Islam versus Charles Oliveira, and then you go to Islam versus Volkanovski, obviously 2 different type of athletes, right? Just hands down, 2 different type of athletes. You have Volkanovski, which they're both very well-rounded, but Volkanovski's IQ is so damn high that he's very good at playing the game and understanding his strengths and his weaknesses. So I feel that's one thing that Charles Oliveira doesn't really play into he plays into his strengths very, very well, but it's also a heel to his weakness. Now you guys are like, what the hell do you mean? What the hell do you mean? Volkanovski uses his speed, his in and out. He outstrikes everybody who has a longer range than him because he knows how to play the game very well. To where Charles Oliveira, one of his greatest strengths is how aggressive he is. But he's so damn aggressive that he overextends and gets caught. And that's what happened when he fought Islam, is he overextended by doing that fucking double flying knee, and the Islam caught him with that left hook. Now, when you guys watch the breakdown, you're going to see Charles always gets dropped. But when he gets dropped, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, they let him get back up. And when they let him get back up, it gives Charles Oliveira the opportunity to get back in the gunfight and the shootout. And then he ends up shooting them, following him to the ground, passing guard, and submitting them. Now, where it went different with Islam is when Islam dropped him, Islam followed him to the ground, passed his guard, and submitted him. So I think after watching Volk versus Islam, we saw Islam get tired because you had an athlete that moved around way too much. Now, we saw Charles come back and beat Bernal Dariush. And we're like, yeah, this guy can beat him. But I just sometimes feel that Charles gets in his own way by being super aggressive. Take your time. You have 5. That's what I told Henry too when he fought Aljamain Sterling. I was like, you got 25 minutes to beat him. You don't got to hit him with one big shot. You can work him and break it down. And that's the same thing I thought with Adrian Moraes the third time. I was like, no, excuse me, the second and third. I was like, I got 25 minutes to get it done. I just need one opportunity, one shot to find that right shot and put him away. And I felt the first time I fought him, I was rushing to get to him, and that's when I got knocked out. So, I mean, I'm super excited for that fight. It's going to be a banger.
We'll cover that more in depth, have our official predictions as we get closer. But another fighter I've never heard you really talk about him before, and I know we'll also do breakdowns on him. Khamzat Chimaev, because I'm gonna say probably my hottest take as an MMA fan. I think there's no proof of it yet, but I think he is the best pound for pound fighter. Like, I think he's that good.
Damn.
And I also don't want to include John.
The man hasn't even won gold yet, boys, and he thinks he's the pound for pound best.
Where I want to take, first of all, I do want to say John Jones. I'm only not counting because I'm assuming that I have a feeling that maybe after Stipe we might not see too much. Yeah. So because of course I want to put that straight. If John Jones fights, if that guy fights until he's 45, I'll have him as pound for pound. Like, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. And then Volkanovski's obviously just absolutely amazing. But I think Khamzat, there's been very weird stuff going on of like why he hasn't fought more consistently.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, it's just so. Like, his last fight he's had way harder sparring sessions. I mean, he just goes in, takes down, and which actually we're gonna have a breakdown of that Kevin Holland fight. So I just think what I've seen from him, and he, of course, Gilbert Burns, we did see him get a little bit exposed on the feet, but I still earned respect for him, seeing like, hey, he made it out of a war, like seeing him take that challenge. So. It's a hot take, but what do you think of me having that high praise for him?
No, I can understand. Typically you don't see young contenders come through the ranks and actually take a war like that. Like, you just don't see it nowadays, right? I mean, I think we saw it once with Sugar Sean Ahmad when he fought Peter Yan, but other than that, like, I literally can't sit back and think about like when did a young contender go through like an actual like tough war against a very like number 5 or number 4 top contender. It's very, you just don't see it nowadays. So I think when he fought Gilbert Burns, we saw him get tested. He also goes out there and beats guys very easily by, you don't have very good grappling, I'm going to smash you. So he takes him down, passes guard, and submits him. And I think he's just such a big fan favorite, but he's displayed that he's well-rounded, right? Like, he hasn't really been on his back, though. I don't remember him being on his back, so it would be interesting to see what happens if he gets on his back. But the person he's fighting in Paulo Costa is going to be a banger. Like, they're going to be standing up banging the whole time. Or Khamzat is going to use his intelligence and go down there and just take him down and pass his guard and then submit him. That's what I could see happening. But, I understand. I mean, that's your opinion. And I think if he does...
And to establish there's no proof of it. It's not like I'm sitting here saying, like, this dude's pound for pound. I'm just saying I think that's his potential. But
100%.
I don't know any reason why it's been so long, if it's that people don't want to fight him so that it's been hard, or he's just not been interested in certain fights. And and I will say that too, it's embarrassing what happened with the whole weight cut situation and having to go up, being 9 pounds over, and having an entire card changed because you couldn't make weight. So I will say that we haven't seen him at 185 yet, but we were just talking at length about how, like, that might help him actually to be at 185. Like,
yeah, and just to give people context, we're to go back to that. But me and Michael went to the gym today. We're talking about, you said that you feel that the organizations put a lot of stress on the athletes to make the weight, right? Like, make a weight class or go to a certain weight class, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're just kind of, the competition is like, oh, I need to be the biggest in my weight class. So you see a Khamzat being like, oh, I need to be 170, when I've seen that dude in person. We interviewed him for the Triple C Schmo show. Like, he's not 170 at all.
No, and I was telling Michael that, I disagree in the take he put on it, saying that the organization kind of forces the athletes to go to certain divisions. And I was like, no, man, I disagree, because I think athlete only so when you said when you see some athletes miss weight, you're like, oh, it's not their fault. You blame kind of like the organization, right?
No, I don't want to say the organization. No, I want to say the culture is way more. It's like, it's even goes to the amateur wrestling ranks. Like, it's more of just the culture of this, like, systemic pressure of, okay, I need to be cutting weight. Like, they almost feel weird if it's like, wait, why am I doing something wrong if I'm not cutting weight? I think that's so. I don't know if that's a UFC thing or just any competition level. I'm sure even I'm not really privy to any Muay Thai or kickboxing if they cut a lot of weight.
Don't do Muay Thai. Super League missed weight by 5 pounds. So you can't.
Yeah, so
you
no,
can't
that is true. So I think it's just a competition thing more than anything, but it's certainly not good for the fighters, and I think it's definitely a positive that UFC and hey, as you're saying I'm blaming UFC, I'm also going to give them credit for being like, dude, you are not a 170.
Yeah,
we are not going to book you 170. Like find a middleweight, and that's so I think that's I think it's a better fit for Khamzat, and if anything, makes me more confident that I think he's one day we're gonna just see this guy as like in that Khabib kind of dominance, someone who has not lost. He has Khabib certainly didn't have a war like he did against Gilbert Burns though. But still, I just have high hopes for him, and I think Paulo's the perfect opponent, not only for this build, but just being someone Paulo's fought literally everyone in that division. So
and
we're really getting a test, and a big 185 too. So.
Yeah, and Paulo Costa's also fought Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, Israel Adesanya, how do you say his name? The Italian, or is he Italian?
Marvin Vittoria.
Marvin Vittoria. So he's fighting everybody. So he's definitely going to bring it, right? This is probably going to be the most experienced fighter, I feel like, that Khamzat has fought. And I feel if any of these two fuckers show up overweight, I'm going to blow my shit. Because like I told Michael today,
this is a good prediction. We did the Logan Paul. Let's do a prediction a couple weeks out. Do you think that Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo both make 185 with no issues?
They better, because like I said at the gym today, there is no excuse, ladies and gentlemen. Tell you, there is no excuse, and all the fighters out there, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is no excuse for you guys to miss weight. No excuse whatsoever, and this is why you guys have no excuse. Now, I'm an athlete. I've been fighting mixed martial arts professionally since 2010, and it's 2023, so I've been fighting professionally for 13 years. I have never missed weight. You know why? Because when I get my contract, it's about eight weeks out, and it says, Demetrious Johnson, we want you to fight X, Y, and Z on this date at this weight. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is that I checked my weight. I'm like, okay, I'm 155. I never got that big before in my life. But I checked my weight, and I plan ahead of time to make sure I hit that weight on that date. And that's all a fighter has to do, is show up and fight and make weight. So I remember when I talked to Kevin Gastelum, I was at the club. It was in Vegas about some years. And I saw his little big ass running around. I said, Kevin, let me talk to you for a second. He goes, well, what's happening to me? I said, Kevin, there's no reason why you should be missing weight. I was like, you're a wrestler. There's no excuse. So, Khamzat and Paulo, they better make weight.
No, I really hope so too, because the worst part about missing weight over anything else is it really makes whoever the winner is not deserving of a title shot. Whereas if both these guys make weight, we already saw what happened in the middleweight division with Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya. Like, everything is wide open. Yeah. So like they are just asking for someone to step up.
The storyline, it just opens up everything.
It up if you miss like, that is the only whoever wins this fight, even if it was a boring fight with the star levels and the way that these guys and shout out to Captain Eric, who I know he's in Abu Dhabi right now, and I was in Brazil with him and Paulo Costa, and like they are just you know Captain Eric, he's working on his wrestling. Like they are working their asses off on wrestling. They know what's gonna there's no secret to Khamzat. That dude is sprints at you. He closes that distance and just wrestles. So like, what is he gonna? You sometimes see these wrestlers who like, oh, it all of a sudden becomes a stand-up fight. No, that is not happening. He's gonna sprint at him, try to take him down.
But the biggest thing that Paulo can't do is he can't just focus on defending the takedown, because it'll be 3 rounds of him just defending the takedown. That's all it would be. And I tell people, when you fight guys who want to take you down, this is when you give them opportunity. Use your distance, use your jab, use your knees, and use your kicks to keep him away. Oh, he might catch my kick. Perfect. Just make sure when you throw the kick and he catches it, you come down in the Muay Thai stance. And that's one of the things I did with Adrian Ramirez. I never forget, him and Ceruto was like, DJ, don't kick him. I was like, why the fuck not? If he catches it, we'll go on my back, and I'll fight him off my back. And then I got to the point when I showed the kick, he would think about it. Then I show the kick, feint, and then knock him out the right hand. So for me, if I was with Captain, I'm like, don't worry about defending takedown. Like, defend a takedown, but also Let your hands go. Let your kicks go. Be Paula. Be the eraser. Erase this motherfucker from the card. Don't just defend a takedown. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
No, and that's one thing too. Is we've talked a little bit about who are we pulling for, and even with what the praise I have for Hamzat, 100% pulling for Paulo. You know,
he's trying to protect him. Somebody goes back there.
Yeah. I don't want Captain, if you are watching this. No, but really, it genuinely Paulo's only a good dude from any time I've met him. I hope he wins. I think it'd be cool if he would get, first of all, him versus Sean Strickland. That would be him versus Sean Strickland would be the greatest build to a UFC title fight ever. We're talking about Dylan Dennis on Twitter, that Twitter game with the secret juice. And
this guy got his secret juice, man.
Yeah.
Secret juice probably got pissed in there, man. That's what it is. I'll show him secret juices, put my dick in there, and fill it up with yellow shit. Yeah. That's what he said.
No, so I do hope that we get that. We see that, but no, I mean that's part of the intrigue. So no, I think we had a little bit of a weak stretch in combat sports after the Israel Adesanya Sean Strickland pay-per-view. Took some time off, not kind of a little bit of weaker fight night cards. Other than that, I will say the Mexican Independence Day was phenomenal.
Yep.
But we've had a little bit of a slow week, but now we're going to get the Dylan Dennis, Logan Paul, KSI, Tommy Fury. Week after that, we get UFC 294. Week after that, we get Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou.
That's right.
So this is a fire stretch. Exciting time to be a fan. Exciting time to listen to the MIGHTYcast, watch the MIGHTYcast. So no, we're gonna be covering all of it in depth. We have no issue covering these, even if there's not too much technique going on. Like, we know that you guys enjoy these fights, Dylan Dennis, Logan Paul, so that it makes it fun for us to cover it too. So no, I mean I'm looking forward to the fight, and no, as you said, we're gonna have Demetrius's reaction, which should be interesting.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. That's gonna be a sick ass fight, because after breaking down Francis Ngannou's boxing, I don't know how I feel if he's gonna get the job done. A lot of people out there think he has a weak ass jab. We read that all in the comments, and I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna do with the size, the boxing skill of Tyson Fury, the movement, the peak male body physique of Tyson Fury. I just don't know, but I'm super excited to break that down and watch it happen.
No, and I find that funny too, that, and it's not to discredit our own videos, because I enjoy this, that we are breaking down these very specific things. But I think if any fighter knows how these things work, if you have an open workout, you better not be showing your best stuff. I mean, if you're just doing it just to have a camera there and talk to the media, promote the fight. So no, I think we're gonna see Ngannou look a lot better than he showed in that workout.
I'm gonna have to disagree with Michael, boys. What you do is you get yourself ready, you crack yourself open one of these bad boy G Fuel drinks. Make sure you go to gfuel.com and get yourself some. When you check out, make sure you use promo code MIGHTY. You crack one of these things up, get lit, go out there, show them your best move. That way, when they look at the table, like, holy shit, dude, like, Francis Ngannou's gonna bring it. That's what you do, Michael. You ever look at any of my open workouts? You see me just going blah, 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 nah, blah, 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 blah. I'm moving forward. That's when you need.
I'm also one of those fans. Like, all these people, they love gambling and all this shit, and they'll look at, like, man, did you see this guy in the open workout? And, like, they'll watch it, or, like, I even think it's the same. I've seen enough fighters look like death at weigh-ins where that doesn't mean shit either. Like, how many times Max Holloway's have been like, this dude? This dude looks like he's like a pound away from dying, and then he goes and just whoops someone's ass for 25 minutes. Like, I'm done judging any prediction of a fight on an open workout or how they look in weigh-ins. Like, I'm sorry, I'll look at their body of work and the opponent's strengths and weaknesses. I think that's a better.
I love that. I'm gonna start calling Max Hoy a Hawaiian Skeletor. But yeah, man, he looked like death, like 1 pound from death. Like, that's what you said verbatim.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I just, you know, and I don't think that should be any, you know, and maybe I'm wrong, but I personally, it doesn't make, and I don't really think Ngannou and this is something we'll talk about more in depth. I don't think he stands much of a chance anyway. But all I'm saying is I would not base it off of this.
That jab.
Yeah. I just love the tweet of like, oh man, this is like the worst jab I've ever seen. It's like, dude, he knocked people the out in MMA. I think he knows how to throw a punch. Like these Twitter experts, like he doesn't know how to throw punches. Like so you know, it's something we'll discuss more in depth as we get closer. But no, and we saw. You could just tell by Fury signing that Usyk fight all he thinks about the chances that Ngannou has.
So we're gonna end on this. Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Like, ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand that is unheard of in my lifetime of being a combat athlete. That's like me signing a contract to fight somebody, and then they're fighting 2 months after that, right? I think it's 2 months after
2 months.
He's fighting Usyk. So just put it into context. Tyson Fury is so damn confident that he's going to walk through Francis Ngannou, one of the heaviest hitters in the world in combat sports. He goes off and signs another contract to fight one of the best boxers, Usyk. 2 months later, and I believe this one's in Saudi Arabia, or is it in Abu Dhabi?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. That's just unheard of. That's how confident he is that he's going to beat Francis Ngannou, right? And it's when I saw that,
wonder now that you just brought that up, I wonder if maybe some of it played a factor in that he's going to stay there, because I'm pretty sure both fights are in Saudi Arabia. So
yeah, so he's probably going to stay there too. Why not?
Yeah, so maybe he's like, I'm in fight shape.
Yeah,
you know, I'm in.
I bet you if he does this, if he's successful at Francis and he's successful at Usyk, I would not be surprised if he retires, because yes, I would love to see him fight Anthony Joshua, but I just don't know if he cares to, right? Because we saw what Usyk did to Anthony Joshua. Usyk destroyed Anthony Joshua. His movement was way too much. Like, Anthony Joshua goes, what the hell? Like, I never fought any, like, I remember Anthony Joshua said, I've never fought somebody who moved like you. Like, you moved like a lightweight. And that's one of the things I told Francis that I would love to see Francis focus on is his movement, because we already know he hits hard, right? Francis has proved to us that he can knock people out with those hands. But I think he's approaching the fight against Tyson Fury wrong, because Tyson Fury has already fought the hardest puncher with Deontay Wilder, right? And he got knocked down, and then your boy Tyson Fury rose up like the motherfucking Undertaker from WWE and got back up and finished the fight. But the fact that he signed a contract to fight Usyk 2 months later is absolutely mind-blowing. That's like, you'll never see that in, well, actually, you will never see that in mixed martial arts. You might see a guy fight and then do a quick turnaround that he took no damage, but you will never see, like, Sean Strickland, hey, I'm going to fight Izzy on UFC 300, and then I'm going to go ahead and sign the contract to fight, Paulo Costa at UFC 301. Like, you would never see that in MMA. Like, I don't think
it's because MMA's... you're going to hear me have a lot of MMA versus boxing debates, but it's because MMA is actually unpredictable and anyone can win, whereas boxing 99% of the time it's all the odds are in the favor of one guy winning, and that's let's be honest, that's the real reason. So we all know that there's half of these boxing fights are just to showcase one guy winning. They'll get their freaking tens of millions of dollars for a fight that's boring and sucks. Like, it's a problem in the sport, and I definitely do not. I'm not crazy. That's why I wanted to see Ngannou Wilder. If I'm being honest, like, I'm not crazy about this at all. For Ngannou to be like, oh, I'm gonna try boxing, and then you go against Tyson Fury. Like, are you kidding me? How does that make any sense? That'd be like, imagine if a boxer ever had the balls to do MMA, which they won't. But if a big boxer ever came into MMA and then they just go against the champion, that doesn't make. They're gonna lose to take any of these boxers and they go against the lowest ranked fighter in the division. They'll get their asses kicked in MMA, and you're gonna just go against. So that's the issue with there. I would have rather seen Ngannou Wilder. Then I would have actually been a little bit more unpredictable. Of, like, I don't know. I think I've seen enough flaws in Wilder's game, but Fury's, you're just. he's almost telling, like, it has to affect the pay-per-view buys to an extent. It's like, shit, I'm gonna like save my money. I'm gonna save my money for my $80 for a couple weeks later to see an actual. I mean, couple months later to watch an actual boxing fight.
What if Tyson Fury loses? Like,
no, Ariel Helwani said that too, and like he got so much shit because people are like, "Oh, he's not gonna lose." Like, there's still a fight. Like, and Ngannou's fucking powerful as shit.
Exactly.
Like, so you don't know what's gonna happen.
If he loses, does he still fight Usyk? Like, does that make that fight even desirable to watch?
How great would it be if, like, Ngannou just flatlines Fury, and then they're just like, well, we're going to do Ngannou versus Usyk, and he just loses out on that Usyk payday. Which I don't even know, is Ngannou Fury for a title? Like, I don't even know.
It's not for a title.
It's not?
I think it's just for a super fight.
That's right. It's so hard to, these, like, you want to support these just gimmick fights, but then when it doesn't make it so much harder to legitimize this shit when we're trying to take it seriously. And Ngannou versus Fury, it's like, okay, we'll try to take it seriously, and then they just book Usyk versus Fury. It's like, then I'm not gonna take. Okay, then is this just pro wrestling? Like, okay, fine, then.
So you're starting to see this man's personality right here.
Yeah, because when I can actually say shit is when it's not anyone that I work with professionally. So there's no boxers that I work with, or there's no one that I'm offending. Like, no, it is. Yeah. It's a joke, if we're being honest. It would never happen in any MMA organization that's worth anything. I don't like it, and no, as an Ngannou fan, it's just did him dirty, but no, he's gonna be happy with the payday, so
exactly.
I
hope just for the shits and giggles to see you get mad. I hope Francis wins. He's like,
there's another example I want to say too here. Francis Ngannou versus Fury. Ngannou would kick your ass in an actual fight. Yeah. So you could be so cool being like, oh man, I'm fighting, Francis Ngannou, I'm gonna kick his ass. You will, but if we lock them in a room, come back 5 minutes later and go see what it looks like.
Be careful, man. Them gypsies, they you up, man. They got some sneaky shit. You never know. They're teaching the gypsy choke, all right?
No,
you never know.
No, I'm pro Francis Ngannou. I hope he knocks the out of Tyson Fury, and we could just, actually just make a mockery of what this insulting Usyk fight is.
I just if Francis does win, I hope that he gets the opportunity to fight Usyk instead of Tyson Fury. But that's a very ballsy move for Tyson Fury to sign a contract 2 months later to fight Usyk. So, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. Shout out to our sponsor, G Fuel. Get you some, gfuel.com, promo code MIGHTY. Man, this was a fun ass episode.
No, yeah, we don't get to do it in person often. No. I live in Phoenix, Demetrious in Seattle, but no, hopefully we get to do more of these. We'll always try to do it. Maybe when we're on the road together. Yeah. We already got some stuff planned. We'll be at F1 and whatnot. Yes. In Vegas. So
we should do it there. We should do another.
Exactly. There. So no, we'll make sure to do it in person. But no, as always, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts, and of course, always gonna have it on YouTube as well. Give us your thoughts, any feedback you might have. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and we'll also continue to try to get guests too, because I've already gotten some good feedback with Ariel. We should make that a monthly thing, maybe bi-monthly, something like that. Because we have.
I want to get Michael Bisping. That's the one I want to get on next. I want to talk to him about his MMA career, his acting career, his analyst career. I think there's a lot of things there, and I've also fought on multiple cards with him. So I think it'd be good for you guys to hear, Michael Bisping's story.
Yeah, no, we do that. Yeah, and I think we'll also do maybe Uncle Chael too.
Oh my God,
but Uncle Chael, we might have to make it like a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, let me tell you what happened in West Oregon. The true gangster. Oh God.
Domo. How are we doing, chat?
We're doing good.
We like the shirt.
You're gonna stand the whole.
All right,
you're gonna stand the whole time.
It's so I can. What's it called?
Oh man, this is
emote better.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of MIGHTYcast, and we're joined by the one and only one of DSR's generals. Please help me welcome in maycee.
Ha ha! Minasan yokoso. Boku wa maycee desu.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, wow. Look at all that. Look at all. Okay. Okay. You posing for everybody. Very nice. Very nice. How you doing, brother? How you been?
I'm awesome, bro. I have my fight in Texas in a month, and I'm excited for it. It's for another Street Beefs clone, which, like, I want to move on to pro soon, but they're offering me money, so I'm gonna go fight.
So you're about to do another Street Beef fight, and you're gonna get paid for this one, correct? Okay. I saw your last fight. You look good. You're beating homeboy up, piecing him up. You put him in the void. You're in the matrix. You look damn good. I got to give you flowers when you deserve them, and you deserve a lot of flowers for the last fight.
Thank you so much, Mighty! Bro, did I activate Ultra Instinct, or did I activate Ultra Instinct?
I think you activated Ultra Instinct. I'm not going to lie. You did.
That fight, honestly, was my hardest fight, but I was not expecting that his pace at the beginning. I thought I was going to lose. I was like, damn, I came all the way out here to lose. Because his pace was so overwhelming in the first half, and I just didn't even know how to cope with it. I was trying to just put my scramblings in the right positions. If he had as much experience as me, I would have lost. But I have plot armor.
Okay, well let's talk about that. How did that fight come to be? Because it wasn't Street Beef. It was it sanctioned by sanctioned by the state? How did that one come to be? Because
BFL is another Street Beefs clone. There's been a lot of Street Beefs clones popping up, which is awesome because I think Street Beefs clones and organizations like Street Beefs are funnier and cooler. And they were basically a more organized Street Beef. So they had the standard gloves, mouth guards. They had a bigger padding than Street Beefs, and they also had rules that I thought were stupid. They said that you couldn't throw head kicks, which I was like big mad about. So they had a lot more stuff in place. So that way, like, they had a mat on the ground, very nice mat, very professional. It honestly looked like it could have been out of like a promotion, but they're still at Street Beefs level.
Well, when you say Street Beef levels, I feel like Street Beef, we talk about the original, the OG, the origin story of Street Beef is like, people, I have a beef with you have beef with me, let's fucking settle it. So when you call it a clone, isn't it just another gym just throwing on, or is BFL not a gym? Like, who runs BFL?
Ho, ho, ho! I'm about to give the lore. So BFL, this is actually very impressive. BFL is operated by Ryder Lindsay, who's a young... he was when I first met him, he was 18 years old, and he started this fight promotion from the ground up. He literally just had his friends fighting in like a makeshift boxing ring. Shout out to BFL. And he started recording that on Instagram, and it blew up. And he actually had a bunch of people watching these fights that were essentially just backyard stuff. And then he took the professional side of it, and he got a mat, he got a ring, he got so much stuff, so that way it just looked like a promotion, but it still was just like guys that would come to fight. And then eventually other fighters who had been like, maybe they haven't done their amateur debuts yet in sanctioned Ohio, they would come and they would go there, and then they'd also get some experience. We're experiencing a combat sports renaissance, chat. All of the men just want to fight, and I love it. It's like Rome before it collapsed, but we're like a lot more safer, and we're a lot cooler because we have death sentence.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your origin story. Okay. Tell me about, I know you said you wrestled in high school or middle school. Talk to me about how you got into wrestling and then transition into becoming the one that know you as maycee. Tell me your origin story.
All right. I'll tell you, but first I have to change fits then.
Okay. I gotta turn my fucking thing down. He gonna blow my ears out.
So, maycee's origin story. There's a lot of maycee lore. I used to be handsome, and I used to have hair. Now I don't. It's because it's my power limiter. I did wrestling in high school. and I was pretty good. They were all wrestlers. All of the boys in my family, we were all wrestlers. So we had World War III like every Tuesday. So during that, I kind of adapted skills on how to fight. Kind of. But my dad was a Division I wrestler. He wrestled for Lehigh, and he also was the coach for F&M College. So he was a really damn good wrestler. And that he would instill like in us, I think genetically, the power to conquer and the power to battle. But I was kind of like the black sheep because like I did wrestling from youth up until high school, but I had some problems. I had some beef with the coach because we had a new coach come in right after my freshman year, and we didn't get along too well. I actually tried to punch him because he deserved it. But what the drama was he took my spot, which I said I was going to go 120. I thought I was going to go 120, but I couldn't make it because I couldn't cut the weight. I was a growing boy. How was I supposed to know, chat? And then, so I tried to go 126, but he's like, well, this is his first year as a coach, by the way. He's like, well, we already have someone at 126. You're going to have to make 120. I'm like, coach, I can't make 120. I'm better than the kid at the 126 spot, and I beat him in a wrestle-off, but he still didn't give me the spot, and he benched me for several matches. And that's when my villain arc started. So, because of my problems with authority, I quit the wrestling team after, like, having some fights with my wrestling teammates. God bless their souls. I love you, Colby. I love you, Jose. I miss all of my freshman year wrestling teammates. They were awesome, and I love those memories that I made. Shout out, AJ. But it just culminated into a problem where I actually left wrestling, and I was kind of like at a weird point in time where I was like chasing girls, distracted. I didn't really pursue social media as hard because even before I started becoming a fighter, I actually was pursuing my YouTube career, which was nothing because no one thought I was funny at the time, and I wasn't really that funny. And so there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of documented lore too. If you go out into like the early stages of my YouTube videos, you'll actually find some funny videos, chat.
Okay, so you did that, and then what made you get into like street beef? Because typically street beef, you get into it by you have a beef with somebody. How did you? Because that's why I feel like everybody discovered you was street beef. That's how I found you and Death Sentence. So talk to me about your first fight in street beef.
My first fight in street beefs. I went there after only 2 weeks of training because after I stopped wrestling, I stopped doing any combat sport and I started breakdancing. And that was from around 2021 to 2022. But I was depressed in 2022, so 2023. I went there 2 weeks of training and I fought T Nasty. And that's the earliest video on my street beefs career that you can find. It was in like 2023 of February, I think it was uploaded. I think it might have been I competed February, but it was uploaded in March. But it was like honestly the most mid fight ever because I didn't know how to strike at all. And editor put this in. So I go up, he drops me in like 2 seconds, but my brain reboots in like 3 seconds. So I drop, and then I just come in, and I pick him up with a body lock, and I slam him. T Nasty was very good at his striking at the time, but his wrestling was very bad. So I was able to just kind of like wrestle him and not get him to hit me, but I didn't know any jiu-jitsu submissions. I didn't know any chokes, so I just basically like sniffed him and hugged him the rest of like the 3 rounds, and it was a draw.
But then after that, you went on a tear. Like you have amassed a record of what? I think you're 19-3 or 20-3 now.
I'm in street beefs. I'm 21-2-1, and then in my Miami record, I'm 5-1-1. Can you see that, by the way?
Yes, I can see that.
Isn't that awesome, chat?
Okay.
My drawing skills are so superb.
No, I think it's great. Like I said, when we met, and a lot of people don't realize this, the first time we ever met was you took one of my seminars. I do seminars mostly on the East Coast, and I've seen him fight before, and he was doing his seminars, doing a good job. And then at the end of my seminars, I typically do a meet and greet, take pictures, sign autographs for everybody. And then Wing C came up. This is before you had the head tattoo, I believe. I'm not sure. And then he Yes, it was before. He wanted to challenge me to a dance battle, breakdance battle. So he puts his phone to his buddy and he starts breakdancing, busts out the windmill. I will say this, I was never able to do the windmill. He's doing the windmill, and if anybody knows, when you're doing the windmill, you're basically using your whole core and your lower body to spin your body around, and he fucking hits me right in my LCL, my right knee. I was so fucking mad. Even the organizer of the seminar was pissed off. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm sorry, chat. I'm way more control.
You were in your face, and I was like, ah! Like, I wanted to rip my skin off, because that is not what I meant to do.
Yeah, I was so fucking mad. Like, I was like,
I didn't even post the clip, because I was like, I don't want this clip.
Oh, no, it's not good. It's funny because a lot of people don't realize that, you know, a lot of people get injured at seminars, like whether it's them doing stupid shit or them going with somebody who's trying to take their head off. And so for me, I always try to protect myself when I go to seminars, and that clearly didn't happen that day. I mean, it was sore for about, I think, a week or whatnot, because you fucking healed me right in the fucking LCL.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
You should have breakdance battled me. I mean, you would have lost, so it was kind of smart, but
I probably would have. I probably would have. But then you hit me in the fucking you hit me in the knee, and that's the first time we met. And then you come out here with death sentence. How did you and Death become one? How did you get part of the DSR team?
So my first inclination of death sentence, you know what was funny, is that the first video that you reacted to of me and Sensation fighting, that was the first time you reacted. That was the day that me and Death Sentence like met, but I didn't even like say hi to him. I like felt his aura, but I didn't even like introduce myself to him. Cause after that fight, I was like all bloodied up. So I was like, I gotta go home and I gotta clean all this blood off. I was kind of just hyped up from that. But that same day he had his first fight, and he fought, and I saw his fight on Street Beefs. I didn't see it live. But as soon as I saw it live, bro, I was like, that's my favorite fighter. That's my favorite fighter, bro. Chat, Death Sentence is my favorite fighter. He's awesome. So it really was just like the first time we met. It was after that. I think we saw each other at the next event, and I had devoted my life to him. Here's the picture from it, chat. This is when I submitted myself to the ruler of all warriors.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you guys got the DSR. You guys just got a brand new general, or a new ninja to the squad. The Samoan. How you say his name? Samoan Joe.
Samoan Beast. Welcome to DSR, Samoan Beast.
Okay, and what is the purpose of DSR?
So, what is the purpose of DSR? Well, Mighty Mouse, Death Sentence describes it as a ninja team to kill whoever he dislikes. But we are more than that. We are slowly growing. And as we grow, we will take over the world, and we will rewrite the history of MMA.
How the hell are you gonna do that? How are you gonna rewrite the history of MMA?
I don't know.
You
funny.
You got a lot of legends. You got a lot of legends in there.
We're just gonna beat people, and we're gonna clip farm as anime characters.
Speaking of anime, what's your favorite anime right now? Like, what are you watching?
Question. I knew this was coming, chat. My favorite anime is actually one that's not really that good. It is Air Gear. And it's an anime that's kind of like, it's about rollerblading, but it's like JoJo's if it meant rollerblading. And it's tied with Code Geass. I don't know if you're onto that peak yet, but it's like, it's that good, bro.
Okay. Is anime what inspired you to be called Wing C? Like the last time when you hear Wing C, I think of the One Wing Angel from Final Fantasy VII. So where did the origination of the name Wing C? Who gave that to you?
Wing C was divinely revealed to me when I was in 6th grade at around, I think it was like the 2012 era. And it's right when Instagram was just starting. and I needed a username, which for my alternate account. My first one before it got banned was Malcolm656. Search that up on Instagram. It doesn't exist because that was my old account in 5th grade. But my secondary account that I would use to talk about anime and Pokemon, I was thinking about it. I was like, what should I be? And I was literally in 6th grade. I was like, what? How old is I in 6th grade? Something 8, 9? Maybe, no, 11? No, 10. So when I choose things, I usually keep them for the rest of my life. So this was a very important decision for young Wing C. But I thought about what described me in the symbols that were present in my life. I read a lot of books. I was a huge book nerd before I got into anime. So I understood the value of symbolism and how heavy it was when you were putting it together. So I figured out that it was wings. I knew whenever from the time I was a little kid that wings were going to be such an important symbol in my life because I value freedom. I value casting off the chains that bind you. And then C was Cyndaquil was my favorite Pokemon.
The C was what? What Pokemon was that again? You kind of broke up.
The best starter Pokemon in Johto.
Okay. Well, now it's a trademark. Each time you fight, you have your entrance, you have your red wings, you have the gray wings. How do you decide what wings are you gonna wear when you fight? You even have the wings like a fire chicken too, like a bird.
I do. Mighty, that is a great question. I let the voices in my head decide because they are divinely blessed by the Holy Spirit, and they tell me what to wear.
Okay. All right. So you got to fight in Texas. Who are you fighting? What's the guy's record? What do you know about him?
I think his name is Alex. Yeah, Alex Nemetz. He saw me at the last amateur fight that I was on, and he was like, I forget kind of the interaction I had with him, but me and him are gonna fight, and we're gonna make it legendary! He said it was his last fight. I don't know if that's his last fight ever or last fight as an amateur. I don't know. But I'm going to give him some country wing C power. What do I know about him? I think he's like 4-2. Is that as an amateur?
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
I forget his record. I looked it up and I forgot it. I don't really care about records anymore. They just kind of, my CTE kind of forgets them. The only people that I remember are the ones that low-key are that remind me of anime characters.
And then what's your goal? So after you fight him, are you going to try to go professional or to keep on doing amateur? Like, I was thinking about reaching out to a professional organization to see if they would be interested in taking you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've reached out to a couple. There's promotions what's it called? CFFC. That's the one that Dana White kind of picks his UFC fighters from that pool. So I'm thinking about doing an amateur show for them and then transitioning to pro with them or Flex Fight Series and going from there. But I honestly just want to fight everywhere. And my main drag of going pro is that I won't be able to get as many fights. If I'm not fighting twice a month, bro, I get depressed. What am I doing this for? I want to fight as much as possible. And when I go pro, there's so much more at stake. And there's so much more paperwork. It's so annoying. I don't want to do it. But,
so are you fighting to go pro to start making money? Or, what do you do for a job? How do you make your money? Let's start there.
I rob homeless men and I steal from banks.
Come on, dog. You don't rob no fucking homeless, and you also don't rob banks. Your ass is being jailed by now.
How would you know that? I'm unemployed. I live off of TikTok pay. I live off of donations. I live in my mom's basement. That's where we're at currently, chat. But soon, don't worry, God will make a way. Yeah, I'm unemployed. I make silly videos on the internet.
Gotcha. And then when it comes to actually fighting, do you want to go pro so you start making money, or you just want to keep on fighting as much as possible and not worry about making money? Because at some point you got to move out of mom's basement, I would hope. But I think you have an opportunity to actually start making money in fighting if you go pro and you keep on winning, but you won't be able to fight 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah, I want to move out of here as fast as possible. Whatever brand is willing to work with me multiple times, I'm happy to do. I'm still working out like the kinks of like kind of being micro famous because like you have to talk to the corpos and I hate talking to the corpos about making money and doing promotions, but it must be done. How do you do it, Mighty? What do you do?
Good advertisement
before
right
I
there, my
take off
friend.
my-
And
Can I make that joke?
disgusting.
I'm
Disgusting.
kidding! Going is cringe!
Absolutely disgusting. But no, I think if you don't want to talk to, the corporate and brands and sponsors, that's where you need an agent. An agent can do all that for you. And then the agent will let you know what to do. And then it'll be basically the middleman. He'll take 15 to 20%. And then that way you can just focus on making videos, fighting, and then the agent will take care of it. So you got to find yourself an agent. I think Michael is actually looking to hire or looking to, manage people. So after this, chat, we could talk to you and Michael and get you guys hooked up together.
That'd be nice. I'm down for whatever. I'm releasing my first, merchandise brand. I've, done I've made designs that go on shirts, before, throughout the years. And I've, had stuff, made for me, but I've never, fully actually made stuff to be sold for other people and then that ships worldwide. But I'm working with a manufacturer so that way we can get it done, so that way we can put maycee everywhere. And then first is the maycee drop and then the DSR drop, which will be legendary.
Do you have any of that stuff in your mom's basement right now so we take a look at it, or is it still in the shop? Let's take a look at it. Let's see what you're working with.
All right, chat. Let me move this. Here, watch out, Momo.
Take your time. Take your time.
Actually, wait. The one shirt that I'm releasing... Oh, wait. No, I don't have any samples of the new stuff. I just remembered, chat. I thought I had some, but I don't.
That's okay. Well, when you get samples, you let us know.
On the screen for when this video goes live. Here's the shirt. Ready? Overlay. There we go.
Wow, that looks great. That's a great shirt. You'll sell a lot. Okay, so you're going to fight in Texas, and then after that, you're going to try to go pro. I was thinking about talking to. Are you in talks with CFFC and the other organizations to go pro?
Yes. So I talked to one of their matchmakers, but this is kind of funny. They blocked me because I kept messaging them about me wanting to fight on their card. I don't know why they blocked me because all I did was say, hey, here's a pre-generated text of my record. I'm maycee. I want to fight on your card. And then every couple of months, I'd remind them by sending this smiling dog gif. Here's the gif. And then I would send it to them and then they blocked me. But then they had another matchmaker reach out to me. They're like, hey, we got to have you on our October card. So that management is kind of fragmented, but hey, put me on your card, CFFC. You want to see me dance. I'm funny in Sigma.
Right now, you're training in a gym. Where do you train at?
I train out of Jiu-Jitsu 1, which is but I've trained around multiple gyms in PA. PA is strong because we have Dagestani level wrestling, but we also have some fragmented jiu-jitsu stuff and striking stuff. But we're kind of weak. We're in a weird spot. We're right near Philly, but I'm 2 hours away from Philly, so it's not as an easy drive.
When you act like this in class, actually you actually trained with me. You're actually well behaved and chilled and relaxed. How does your professor deal with teaching you new moves when you're in class? I feel you have a lot of energy. You're all over the place. You can't focus. You can't sit down. How does he deal with that?
That's a good question because you're exactly right. I don't focus and I don't really listen to the coach. And that's how my style is kind of developed because I just do whatever I think is coolest. And I learn the most in sparring and in real rollings. Because then I figure out what part of my style doesn't work against other people, and I kind of build conclusions from that. I still pay attention. Shout out Josiah Suarez. Shout out Nick at Jiu-Jitsu 1. But they low-key have to tell me again after every time they explain it, because my mind is somewhere else. And it's my learning disability. It's also why I freaking sucked in school, bro. I dropped out of school, Mighty, but I went back into it. But there's a lot of wing C lore.
Now, did you get your did you get your GED, or you didn't get a diploma?
So this is actually pretty cool. My original graduating class was class of 2020, which was COVID year. So that class basically didn't get a graduation, but I dropped out and then I went back into it because of a girl that I liked and she convinced me. And then I ended up graduating and passing with like C's and D's. But shout out my guidance counselor, she got me through it. So there was I basically learned a lot in the year that I was dropped out when I was just working than the whole entire 13 years of government education that I did. I learned more in 1 year being an adult and working a job, waking up at 4 a.m. at 17, 16 than I ever did throughout all of that government mandated education.
What job were you doing?
I was just lifeguarding. Getting up at 4 a.m. and making sure people didn't drown at a gym.
Have you ever thought about getting a job now and pursuing, mixed martial arts and fighting?
I've looked into it. I could probably start teaching privates now. I had an offer to go teach a seminar at Pitt for their MMA club. And I'm going to go teach them, even though I don't think I'm really qualified to teach, but in terms of, I've taught breakdancing before. So I think if I taught just movement instead of what works with certain kicks or punches, I am actually a pretty good teacher. Cause hopefully that answers the question. I know it kind of doesn't, but yes, I have thought about it, chat.
I mean, if you get offers to go out and do seminars and stuff, I think you should do it. I do believe you have good movement, right? That's the hardest thing that I think a lot of people have to deal with you is your movement and the emoting, right? And I think once you fight someone who's I'm not going to be bothered by the movement and emote, that's where you're going to run into trouble, which you've had in the past. But you should take them up on that seminar. I think you might be able to make some good money.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. It's for my buddy.
What's your plan? Walk me through your seminar. You walk in there. You come in with your glasses. You come in with your wings.
They actually have a pretty good amount of people because it's at a college and it's not really they have a gym space and it's a club. So it's a bunch of beginners, not a lot of advanced people, but I'm going to be teaching them movement and then I'll try to teach them some advanced techniques because that's the only thing I want to teach. So, yeah, let's say you walk in. Hello, everyone.
I'm walking in.
Boku wa wing see des. I'm not qualified to teach you all right now, but I'm going to try. All right, guys? So, show of hands, who watches anime? Everyone else who has not had their hand raised, sit down, start clapping. Yup. Thank you, guys. Everyone else who doesn't watch anime can leave. I'm joking. So what we're going to be working on today is movement, because you guys are all super beginners. So I'm just going to help you guys start to move. I don't want you guys stiff moving like this. A lot of what makes me famous or makes a lot of people watch me is the way I move. And it's a lot of V steps. It's a lot of triangle steps. It's almost like a break dance. Because I started, before I did MMA, I was breakdancing. So I want everyone to be on their toes. Everyone start moving. And then I'll pick out the most athletic guys, start making fun of them. I'm no. That's not how you do it, guys. Actually, no. I might be a little bit more funny with that. Because picking on people always gets people more energized and more engaged. I would know that because I have ADHD, chat. So, we're all moving. I'm going to just work on putting them in a circle and just moving on their toes so they're not like this and getting punched in the face. That's what I would first cover.
I think that's solid. I honestly think that's solid. I think you get a lot of people who would actually enjoy that part of the seminar. What does your mom think of your character, Wing C? How does she feel about it? And your brothers?
Oh my goodness. My family been known that I'm a black sheep. But my mom, when I first my mom was she's like, I don't want you to have a head tattoo. She's like, please wait till I die before you get a head tattoo. And I was and I just come back with a head tattoo and she's like, that's my Malcolm. That's my Wing C. And then when I burned the bridges by getting this head tattoo, it's like now the name Wing C just means so much more because of my resolve towards it. And so this really elevated my career. It elevated my seriousness, my focus. My parents are like, yup, they're supportive now because now that I have like people like you who are entertained by me. But before they were a little bit standoffish. My brothers and sisters, or I have two brothers and one sister. My brothers were like, that's crazy, but like that's so on brand for you. I dropped out, so like it's kind of on brand for Wing C. And then my sister was like, yup, she's like, that was dumb, but now it's kind of working out because people are watching me.
How old are your brothers and sisters?
So my older sister, Sarah, is the oldest. Shout out, Sarah. Love you. She is 30. She just turned 31. If I mess that up, I'm sorry. Cortland, the eldest brother, the D1 Lehigh grad. He is 29, I believe. He also is friends with Darian Cruz, the one he won NCAAs at 126. My younger brother, my favorite brother, Brayden. I love you, Brayden. He's my torture object, my brother, the man that I would conquer, the man that I would commit arson for, my built-in best friend. He is 22 now, and I'm 24.
Okay. Now, how would you describe, for anybody who's the first time listening to this interview or podcast, how would you describe your fighting stance? Like, how would you describe it?
That is such a hard question to answer that I've been trying to figure out. Sometimes I say anime, sometimes I say retard style, but I think what it comes down to, if you mixed Kung Fu Panda with Tai Lung, I think that's kind of what it gets. Plus anime. There's like a bunch of, I get most of my strikes and stuff from anime characters. Fictional men that Japanese men have created. And that's mostly my inspiration. But honestly, my first IRL fighter, bro, was Death Sentence. Soon as I saw Death Sentence fight, I was like, dude, I want to fight with the level of coolness that he has. Everyone rags on Death Sentence, but they don't understand the vision. They don't understand the type of spirit this man possesses. And when he begins to refine his vision, he's going to be bigger than you, Mighty. He's going to be bigger than Conor McGregor. It won't even come down. Like, once Death Sentence improves his vision to where it needs to be, he's going to be the most talked about fighter of all time. And I sense that, and I know his dream, and I won't let anyone laugh at it, because he will get there.
And what is his vision, and what is his dream?
That's hard. That's hard to say, because for me to say it in words would only sully the coolness and the aura of his vision. He literally is rewriting the history as an MMA fighter. He is an unknown. He hasn't even had his first amateur sanctioned fight, and yet he is talked about as much as he is. Bro. Conor McGregor wasn't talked about as an amateur. I don't think you were talked about as an amateur. That's how big Death Sentence is. I only just want to ally myself with the ruler of all warriors, because I want to be strong enough to stand at his side.
Do you think if social media and YouTube never existed, do you think he would still be talked about? Do you think you still have the same type of awareness to be able to rewrite the history of MMA if social media? Because when I started fighting, when Conor McGregor started fighting, there was no social media. There was YouTube, but nowhere near the reach it has now.
You're right. He would, if they didn't have eyes on him through social media, he wouldn't have amassed as much success as he does. It kind of sucks to think about. Like, you guys literally had your most important and vulnerable stages of your story, and it wasn't told effectively. I kind of feel bad for y'all, and I kind of feel like I kind of grew up in that. While you guys were in your prime fighting years, you and Conor McGregor, during like that 2010 to 2020's era where like they only had the fights and not like everything else that could tell your story, it kind of sucks to think about because you have such a cool story that could have been told, man. Everyone has such a magnificent story that they could be telling. It's only the way we describe it that separates us. Like, honestly, my story isn't even that cool. It's just the way I tell it that people are now like, whoa, maycee is cool. And if other people had that ability, the stars that we would see, chat.
And you keep, I remember we talked about this when you were here, where you keep saying chat, Why do you refer to everything as chat? Like, is that something new? The new age of people saying that? Because you do stream, but eventually you turn the stream off. So I can't imagine you at a dinner table with mom and your sister and your brothers saying, man, this is good chat. Or is that just part of the, the ADHD that you have going on?
It's now like the character that I've put on and I've allowed myself to be is on 24/7. So I do say chat. I was saying it to my employers before I got fired. That's how like ingrained the character is, because it is me and I am it. But yes, chat's used at the dinner table. Chat is used in every social interaction. I just refer to everybody as chat now. It helps too because I have CTE, so I forget people's names, and I'm like, "Yo, what's good, chat?"
You don't have CTE. Have you been diagnosed with CTE? You're too young to have CTE.
No, I have not. But my dad has Alzheimer's, and I probably will have a worse. We have like a genetic memory disease, and I'm now seeing him go through it because my dad's pretty old. He's about to hit his 70s, so I know that I'm literally, because I am his blood, and because I'm literally exactly him. I'm gonna be even worse in the future. That's why I hope that my story ends with me fighting. I hope that I have a glorious battle and I fight to the death, and that I'm enshrined in that battle and everyone remembers it, even though it will turn to dust. That's how I hope to go out. I don't hope to live long. I just hope that my story will affect the minds of young, impressionable men, and that I will inspire them to discipline themselves and to worship the Lord with battling and combat. Oh, there's so much. I just can't wait for my story to just happen.
And what do you want your story like when you die and the battle of glory and blood and all that good stuff? What do you want your story to be, maycee? What do you want it to be?
I honestly don't even want it to be pro MMA. I want to change the world. I want to be like the Gen Z in Nepal that take over their corrupt government. You know the problems in the world, Mighty Mouse. You know they who cannot be named. The celestial dragons. I will destroy them. I will rip sin from flesh. I will conquer my desires. That's how great my story will be. Oh, I'm feeling the Holy Spirit.
The last time I heard about celestial dragons, I'm not gonna lie to you, is when my daughter and I play My Little Pony. So you want to give me more of a context of the celestial dragons or who you're talking about?
The celestial dragons are the antagonists in One Piece, and they are closely paralleled to the people that run the world today. And it's a very One Piece. If you start to read that epic, amazing story, you'll start to.
I ain't reading that shit. That shit's trash. I ain't reading that.
You have to read it. It's
I ain't
amazing.
reading that.
It's like another full-time job, but just like lock in, bro. Clock in and start reading. It's amazing.
That's before my time. I'm a Dragon Ball Z kid, and now it's Jujutsu Kaisen, it's Demon Slayer.
The first serialized One Piece manga was 1997, and I think Dragon Ball was before that, right? The first serialization of Dragon Ball. Fact check that.
I think Dragon Ball was 1993. I could be wrong. Yeah, 1993. Because in 1995, I was coming home from football practice watching Dragon Ball Z, this Frieza saga. So I think Dragon Ball Z was way before One Piece.
It was a couple years before, but they started at the same time. But think about that, dude. The man, Ichiro Oda, as a 22-year-old man, he started his epic One Piece and he's been making it for 30 years. He's now in his 50s. He's about to hit his 60s. He's made one of the most amazing stories ever that is, it's so peak, chat. It is so peak. Oh my goodness, chat!
All right. Michael, what do you got for Wing C? What do you got for Wing C?
What do I got for Wing C? Well, I'm gonna eventually, when DSR reaches the heights of its wealth and influence, what I want to do is release a story. I want to release a manga, and I can't draw, so I'm gonna hopefully hire someone else, and it'll be a manga kind of with all of the DSR crew, but it's gonna also be like semi-fictional, semi-realistic, and we just tell all the stories in DSR crew, but we also include some fictional main character story that will inspire the young men, because I don't really like seeing young men throw their lives away. We have a lot of suicide for young men, and I don't like that! And I just want to inspire them to be disciplined, inspire them to live, and give them hope, because we as young men are pretty discarded unless we're talking to fame. Well, unless we're great like you and me, Mighty Mouse. There's a lot of wrong in the world, and I don't like it.
I see. Okay, all right, Michael. I think he gave you time to get in here. What you got, Michael?
Oh, I like the headband, Michael.
What's up, Wing C? Always a pleasure to meet you in the flesh. So, I have to ask, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about the infamous viral moment between you and Demetrious on the last episode of the training arc. Can you kind of describe this just so people, if you haven't seen it, I don't know how you haven't seen it because it blew up. DJ and Wing C are sparring. Wing C, you were, let's be honest, you had it coming. You were kind of saying a lot of stuff, talking a lot of trash, and then DJ hits you with the head kick.
Oh my goodness, now I'm down, crash. That was golden.
I'm so glad that it happened. Wait, hold up. I have to change outfits to get more sentimental, chat.
Fucking my God. Oh my fucking God. Oh shit. This shit is too fucking.
This shit.
I'm excited to see his costume.
I gotta be honest. I am so thankful. Wait, hold up. Let me put on the jaunt. I want to be real sentimental when I say this.
Oh, God.
Testing. Mighty. You changed my life when you kicked me in the face. And I'm honestly so glad that you did it, because I might have stayed unknown. And I already had burned the bridges by putting that head tattoo on me. And I knew it when I did. When I rage baited you, it was kind of a calculated effort. And I love that you responded in the way that I wanted. I love that you did that. I love that you posted it, because now so many people know my name. And for a long time, all I wanted to be was known. So thank you, Mighty Mouse. Seriously! I actually appreciate you so much, man. Now tell me your social security number and phone number so I can thank you.
It wasn't not my proudest moment. I'm not going to lie to you. I came home. I felt disgusted. I was very sad. And then after I watched, I was like, it wasn't that fucking bad. It felt worse when I was there, but after I watched, I was like, he's fine. He'll be able to live another day.
Yeah, it also works because I wasn't wearing a mouth guard, so like it wasn't that hard. It was just a little, like my chin is non-existent, so it was like, it was kind of like what happened with my first fight. If we reverse back to my first fight, zhink. It was like I just got tapped a little bit hard, and that was it. There is no animosity. I literally wish that could happen. No way! Let's go! Johnny's here!
Oh,
He's
shit. Here we go.
W's in the chat! Master!
Oh, yeah. Mr. Death looking shred. He looking strong, Death.
Yeah,
it is nice to see you, Master.
Yes, of course. This is my disciple.
Watch his mic not even be turned on, chat.
How has everything been going, Mr. Death, and how has your training and DSR going?
It's going good. I'm working on making a training vlog either today or tomorrow, because I've gotten really good, like super good. Like I'm like a god now when it comes to this grappling shit, grappling stuff. Like I'm really good. Yes, I can't wait to show you.
Wing C was talking about your vision and your dream, and he's so passionate about that. He's going to make sure your dream and your vision comes to light. Can you let me know what your vision and dream is?
Okay, so first, obviously join the UFC, but make an army of like some of the strongest warriors in the world, and then travel like countries right around the world, and just like kind of kicking the shit out of all the warriors and proving that we are the best. Yes, I want warriors from all around the nation joining my squad. That's the plan.
And you just got, as Wing C told me, you guys just got a new recruit to DSR.
Yeah. So hopefully Mike too. The plan is to come back in November. Go back to Scrapyard. We got some unfinished business there, and take out the remaining ops.
Oh,
that is the plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Lights Out needs to die. The chef needs to die on Crazy Legs too.
Well, I thought you were about the boxing Aiden Ross thing. I thought you were gonna do a boxing match. What happened to that?
Let me explain. Okay, so I went to his event. I don't know if I posted some photos about it. I didn't get to meet Aiden Ross himself. I did see him. He was supposed to fight. I don't even know who that is, but apparently he backed out. And then they wanted me to fight. They wanted me to fight him, but I think he was busy at the moment or doing something. So,
Wing C, would you go and accompany Death Sentence on this travel? And is your suit modeled after the great Death Sentence?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it is. You see my new suit? I have a new suit now.
You have your new suit?
Yes, I have. Shit. Hold on. Stay right there.
Yeah, I won't go anywhere. All right, Wing C. So if you get the opportunity to fight with Death Sentence and Aiden Ross, would you go do it?
Yes. I've talked to their producer. He is, what's it called? He asked for me my fight weight, but he has been leaving me undelivered. But I also had XQC react to my John, because I think the whole brand risk promo is going to be like Aiden's people versus XQC's people. I haven't really heard many details. This is kind of like unreleased stuff. But XQC reacted to my fight as well. I just want to be there with Death Sentence. Any person that stands between me and my master will die. Doesn't matter how big they are.
Fucking dead.
All right, what you got, Death? Let's take a look at that. Let's see. Oh, you got the Saiyan armor now. So you're leaving a Death Sentence armor, and now you got the new Saiyan armor.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I made a video. You should react to it. It came out kind of funny. So basically, I made a whole video. Wing C saw it. The video is about me, graduating from a soldier to a prince, and I had one of my friends dressed in his Saiyan armor give me the armor, basically.
Is that what you did?
So now I'm a prince now.
Is that what you did with the money you got from the training arc shirts? Is that what you did? You spent it on that?
Actually, I bought like, okay, Nick, no, I'm surprised Nick didn't tell you, but I bought like 5 of them shits. I'm not gonna lie.
5?
I bought
5?
I bought 5, because I was trying to get the right one that fit me. I bought 2 that didn't fit me, so I had to buy like at least 3 or 4 of them. Turns out I'm a size medium, but I was a size large. I was not.
You ain't that big, dog. Come on. You tall, but you ain't fucking filled out, you know?
Yo, come on, bro. Come on, I got muscle now. Come on.
Yeah. Now, did you return the other ones, or did you keep those too?
Keep those. Probably just give them out to some assassins I meet in the future.
Okay.
And that'll be their uniform. But also and I want to make a headband like that's a skull, so you don't necessarily have to wear a ninja outfit, but you got to at least wear my headband or a badge or a ring or something. Okay,
well, Wing C, your DSR captain is here. Is there anything you want to say to him before we let you go? We're going to finish up your interview. Is there anything you want to say to Mr. Death before we let Mr. Death out?
Master, I love you.
I love you too, assassin. Fuck the ops.
All right.
I mean, you will not be disappointed next time. Trust me.
I will not. I cannot wait to see what you do next, Mr. Death. Have a good night. We will chat with you soon, my friend.
Yeah. Well, you guys, all right, I'll see you guys later.
Now, Wing C, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I know you got a lot of training going up. You got a big fight coming up. Before I let you go, this is your opportunity to let you have the floor and let people know how they can support you, where they can follow you on your YouTube, TikTok, whatever. The floor is yours, brother.
Make sure you're following me, Wingc, on IG, YouTube, TikTok. Every update is posted. It's tri-posted to those things. Please come witness the rise of DSR's First Division captain as we take over MMA. I'll see you soon, chat.
Perfect, yeah.
Well, boys, if you guys enjoyed this episode of MIGHTYcast, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to go live. And we just had Wingc on him, so go follow him and support him. He's got a big fight coming up in Texas, and hopefully we can see this man at a Ross event or get to a pro-level event. Yeah. I'm your host, Mitch Johnson, and my co-host, Michael Wantover, who will see you guys at the next episode of the MIGHTYcast.
Do you know what this says?
Huh?
I'm sorry about your illness.
Don't ask Mighty about his What? I can't read that.
It's Ligma.
Ligma?
Yeah.
Ligma.
I heard you contracted Ligma, so I just wanted to say I'm glad you got over it.
I don't know what Ligma is, but boys, we'll see you guys at the next episode of the MIGHTYcast.
Right.
Welcome back to another episode of the MIGHTYcast, and we were joined by the one and only Wingc. We're going to recap everything we just talked to with that gentleman. Yeah, that was a lot. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That was really a lot, which I knew it was going to be, but he's been very successful in his journey of mixed martial arts. He has no interest in, he doesn't want to go pro, because he wants to be able to keep on fighting. So I reached out to a couple people to see if we get him in, some pro cards to try to make some money so he got out of his mom's basement. I reached out to DBX, Dirty Boxing, and I reached out to Anthony Pettis, Fighting Championship. I think those are two good levels for him to start at, because he has a record of 21-2 in street beefs. I think it's time for him to make that next step into the pro league, and he's a part of the DSR, Death Sentence Requiem, whatever it's called, and they're trying to take over the world and bring the vision of Death Sentence to light.
I just kicked him from studio again. Sorry. Yeah, but he is, he is a character. I think we did our best. We wanted to have him on the MIGHTYcast. This is if you want Wingc on the MIGHTYcast, this is what you're gonna get. That is Wingc in his truest form. But if you could just look past all the character, the anime, the obnoxiousness, I will say there is a pretty decent fighter in there. He's pretty young. I believe he's 24 years old. Has some really good movement. He looked great in his last fight. He has a lot of charisma. He's starting to gain a following. So I think there is something there. If you're able to look past that kind of Wingc persona, I am pretty impressed with him as a fighter. And I know you are too, DJ.
Yeah, he's got great movement. I mean, he beats a lot of people, and I think it's time for him to take that next step. His movement's so good and tricky, and like Michael said, he has amassed a massive following. Like, when he fights, people tune in, and you just look at the numbers, right? You look at our YouTube channel. I could break down Tybertola versus Adrian Lee. It might get 30,000. It might get 45,000 views. But if I break down one of Wingc's fights, it's going to get 435,000. People love to see him fight. And at the end of the day, when you look at the UFC, when you look at all these organizations, they want guys who are going to sell. And let me tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, this man can sell. When he fights, people tune in. And I think if he gets the opportunity to fight for DBX or something like that, he's going to be able to bring a lot of following and be able to put some money in his pocketbook and hopefully be able to get out of his mom's basement.
So come on, Anthony Pettis and all those promoters out there. You got a star here in Wingc. I want to see him take that next leap and really, put him on a stage. What's great about YouTube, he's already on a big stage, right? Look at BFL, that last fight. If you pulled it up, I want to see what his last fight has for their YouTube. But he already has become, a huge draw on that YouTube space. But that's okay here. So if you pull up BFL Championship, shout out to them. They helped us with breaking down his last fight, giving us that footage. 463,000 views.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
Wing C is already a draw. If he could bring eyes to Anthony Pettis and his APFC or some of these other smaller promotions out there, I think it's a no-brainer for them. Aiden Ross.
And I think those guys, they have a small, strong team. Death, Wing C, and now Simone Beast. I think those three guys can all train together. Even though they live separate from each other, I think they can all come together because Wing C's at a gym. He's training, he's working out, he's fighting. So I think he can help lead those guys to what success can look like in the fights because out of all three of them, Wing C has been the most successful one Adam when it comes to the combat, right? Like we said, he has great movement. He's not scared to get hit. He has one of the greatest assets that a lot of people will have a hard time, getting, which is not being afraid to get hit and being able to strike on the feet.
Yeah, and I tried to get Wing C to have a serious answer about it, but he wasn't given many serious answers. But I did want to ask you one more time about the viral clip. You kind of giving him that head kick, him dropping. What was kind of your reaction to how much that blew up? Because I know from at least my perspective, at first you didn't even want us to post that. You thought like this isn't going to make the episode. So if anyone thinks that stuff was for camera, zero. We didn't even think it was going to be in the episode until we looked back at the footage. We're like, okay, yeah, this is pretty great stuff. But from your perspective, what was it like for you to see the reaction that people had to that viral moment with Wing C?
I mean, a lot of people enjoyed that viral moment, but I wasn't very proud of it. Remember, we came back the next day and they said, "Hey, I don't think we're going to use that." And you're like, "What? What are you talking about? We're definitely going to use that footage." And for me, it wasn't. I said before, it's not my proudest moment in martial arts because my goal is never to hurt anybody. It's never to, give them a concussion or hurt, just basically hurt them. And when I dropped them on accident from him rage baiting me, it just would happen. I'll never forget. I came home and I told the wife, I was like, I did something bad today. She goes, "Oh my God." Then when we sat there and watched it, I was like, "Oh, okay, it wasn't that bad." And I'm glad the fans and everybody who watched the training arc, they really enjoyed that piece of the episode.
Yeah, no, I think in all of our training arc episodes, that might have been the most viral moment in any of them, which just says a lot because that's a series I know we're all very proud of, and that moment was, I think it did elevate Wings. Wings, he was already a star before us, but I think it elevated his profile a little bit, and good for him too. As much as he's having this character on screen and all that stuff. Off camera, just so people know he definitely was apologetic about it, and I think he did.
Oh, yeah.
I think he did learn a lesson, but getting him to say that on camera, just getting him to sit still, to have a mic talk on camera, that's the difficult thing. But I'm excited to see what's next for Wing C. What would you like to see next for him?
He's got to fight in Texas, so hopefully he does well there. I'll watch that fight and break it down, and then I hope DBX or Anthony Pettis Fight Championship get back to me and we get this guy some money in his pocket. And the one thing that you can always respect about him is that each time he shows up, he always fights. There is no I don't want to fight. He brings a show, he brings a little wings, and he shows up and he fucking scraps. And I think people around the world want to see that, and I think they're going to enjoy it. So we're going to find out. We're going to be bringing on his next fight, so make sure you guys like, subscribe, also hit the bell to when we go live. Go follow Wing C on his TikTok, his YouTube, his Instagram, because we want to show him love because he's out there and he's trying to entertain. He's trying to make it out of his mom's basement. And so, boys, if you guys enjoyed this recap, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below what you guys thought about this episode. And if you already follow Wing C in the chat, just put a W in the comment section. That way you came here from Wing C. I'm your host, Reese Johnson. My right-hand man, Michael Wandover. Our guest was Wing C. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the MIGHTYcast.